So in order to work with a manual test case for this particular application, we have to write a prompt a bit trickily. So we'll see what I'm actually going to do over here. So you just see that before you even go further with this particular application to be automated or manually tested, you first of all need to have access to this page so that ChatGPT can able to understand what this page is and how it can write the manual test cases for this particular application, because it needs to have a visibility of what page it is so that it can write the test cases for that page. So now let's say if I want to ask the ChatGPT to do it, like let's say I want to say write manual test scenarios for the page http://eaapp.sami.com with all possible permutations and combinations. I guess the spelling is wrong, permutations. And if I hit enter, you will notice that the chat GPT is immediately going to tell you that the testing scenario for the page can be based on the key functionalities and component of the web page. Since I cannot access this page, I will provide you the generalized test scenario, assuming it's a web application with login, registration, basic navigation functionality. This is like a generalized version, right? So basically, even though we saw that ChatGPT could able to access the external website while doing a search functionality, it won't do you like a custom web scraping operation. So what you told right now to access the page, which is this URL, is more like a web scraping operation. So if you have never heard about web scraping, just search for web scraping over here. See that web scraping or web harvesting or web data extraction is a data scraping used for extracting data from a website. That is what is called as web scraping. And this ChatGPT unfortunately won't have a web scraping functionality. So if you go and search for web scraping in ChatGPT, there are some paid tool available which you can use it. So you can just go over here and if you just scroll down a bit, you can see that there is this video game to scrap, and there is some more details available. And I have seen some plugins available which can help you do the web scraping. We are not going to go that route. Unfortunately, that is going to be even more paid, and we wanted it to make sure that you go with a freer version. So in order for this to be even more easily doable, and even before we conclude that website cannot be achieved, you can just say, can you access the site in first place? And then immediately ChatGPT is going to say, I cannot access the external websites, including this one, right? So this is not able to be accessed from this guy. So how do we get around this problem to write the manual test scenario over here? Well, guess what? We all know there is a very great trick for this website, because every single time while a page is being rendered on the browser, you can expect its source code using its view page source option. You can even do it in inspect or view page source to get the entire page source. This is the whole source code of the web page. You have it. Now just copy this entire page source code and go to ChatGPT, and now you can do this. You can just ask this question: can you analyze this page source and write me all the possible manual test scenarios, and make sure that you are writing the scenarios like an experienced QA engineer. So this is called as prompt engineering role assignment. So basically in prompt engineering, you can also assign a role to the prompt software, which is ChatGPT in our space, and you can tell him that you are now an experienced QA engineer, and the output that you're going to be producing should be of this quality. That is what you're essentially telling over here. I know it's a lot of ask, but you can do that. That's another prompt engineering that you can do it. And now once I do that, you see now the entire page is being analyzed by ChatGPT, and it is trying to write the scenarios for you. So it says that based on the HTML source provided, I will outline the detailed manual test scenario for the key functionalities, and these scenarios are structured to reflect a quality assurance engineer thought process, covering positive, negative, and edge case for comprehensive testing. Amazing. That's exactly what we wanted. You see that now it can see my page, this guy, because now it got the visibility of the source code. So now it has access to the entire page, even though you can't do the web scraping. I have given him the entire scraped page using the source code from here. And you see that that's what it is doing. So behind the scene, even though the chat gpt does the web scraping, if it has the ability, it only goes and look at the source code. And that's what I have passed in as an input this time to ChatGPT to make sure that it can see my page. See that it says now home link. Click the home link for the navigation bar, and expected result, the user is redirected to the home page. And you can write the exact same thing for the about link, employee link, navigation visibility, authentication link, and all those scenarios over here. You can see that it is still keep on writing even further scenarios if it wanted. But now let's say if I want to ask like, can you write the scenarios for the login page? So let's say I'm going to inspect this page. Sorry, not inspect, view the page source. Copy that over here, and I'm going to say write the scenarios for this page with few scenarios, not including all the edge cases. So this will just reduce the number of scenarios that we are expecting it to be generated. So you see that now it says that there is a page load scenario, like how much time it takes for the page to be loaded and which page it is loading. And also it's looking for the page title. And then there is a login form submission. So it says username and password, and there is a login operation, and then it performs a submit operation, and then these field validation operation. And you can see that whether the password field is required or not, or whether the user name field is required or not. And see that it also knows there is a remember me checkbox there, whether it is validated or not. So every single operation are being validated over here, and all these scenarios are written for us instantly using this large language model. So this gives us a very, very good comfort to tell that, hey, guess what? All my time that I expect to happen in a more productive fashion can be taken care from some other mean, and these babysitting operations that I always try to do while starting a new project can be taken care from a large language model, because those are very, very simplified these days, because that is amazing. So every single scenarios are now written. And I also told ChatGPT not to write me all this edge case scenarios. That's why it's just few scenarios this time, which is amazing. This is cool. In our next lecture, we will see how we can make use of this ChatGPT and the other tools that we have got to create test data as well.